So Bosnia's March international break has just wrapped up, and I've got a lot to say. I'm not one to upload shorts, but I had to get my post-match instant reactions up.
Class performance, lads. This is a team that drew 0-0 to Luxembourg. And we just conceded twice. Couldn't score once. What? We cannot win 2 games in a row. That is
Not very good. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that. Honest apologies, but I cannot get the game's actual footage to you because they'll just strike my shit, so once again I do apologize. So enjoy this old footage from, like, I think it's probably Bosnia versus Greece, I'm assuming. First up, Iceland versus Bosnia at Bílina Polje. We were the home team, so we immediately had that advantage. We had every other disadvantage under the sun. Dzeko was injured, Pjanic was injured, Klasnic was injured, and even Stevanovic wasn't apparently fully fit to play or something. I don't know, but he wasn't selected in the squad, not even on the bench. Our first lineup actually looked criminal. It looked very similar to the lineup where we got absolutely stuffed by Romania 4-1. So it was absolutely mind-boggling how we went on to not just win, but win 3-0 and never really feel very much threatened, except for like near the end of the game where they just kept sending shots straight into Šejić's hands. Obviously, Iceland's not as good as they used to be, but I still think they're a very decent team, and beating them 3-0 in that manner is extremely impressive. And especially since next time around we would have Dzeko and maybe even Klasnic, it was just giving me more hope that we could get the win over Slovakia. Krunic's 2 goals against Iceland were key, and of course Dedić grabbing his debut goal, his first goal, not quite on his debut, and Tahirovic of course getting his debut is all great and stuff. However, what would follow is an absolute travesty. I'm gonna try to not be too affectionate because I get really passionate about these games and I kind of want to be careful with what I say. However, you cannot allow yourself to switch off in the first half like that, because once you're chasing the game, you are no longer in control. And Slovakia, well, they were in control. Funnily enough, they bagged their first 2 goals in the exact same time as we bagged our first goals against Iceland. So a bit of, poetic pain there. I don't really have much to say. No one really stood out. Krunic might as well not have shown up. Bebek and Demirovic just kept missing chances, especially Demirovic. He was awful. Dzeko and came in, didn't do much. I mean, Perisic was probably the best substitute alongside Simirovic. Just a disastrous performance. Imagine my luck. I looked down on my phone to check if Portugal scored against Luxembourg while we were, I think, already losing 2-0. And Milicevic almost scores an own goal immediately. I think that just says a lot about how this game went. But the most confusing part is, why were we so awful today? We couldn't string much together in the first half and we only activated in the second. But why? If anything, it was opposite like that last game. I think we were active last time around on both ends, from the beginning to the end. But if we were to slow down, we definitely slowed down near the end rather than near the start. It was honestly a shame, as Hadži Ahmetović was someone I really backed. However, he wasn't very good. He was quite awful even. No offense, Aničanin was alright last time around against Iceland. I'm not going to claim that he wasn't. However, what did he do to deserve to be picked twice in a row ahead of Hadžikadinić? I mean, can someone please explain that to me? Dedić and Tahirovic were fine. They were probably the best players on the field, but that doesn't say much considering they were as average as can be. Like I said, stats say it all. We were not the better team. They deserved the victory even though we had more possession, and I guess XG was close. Slovakia just dominated the first half, and you just can't let that happen. You have to stay in it until the end, and we didn't. You have to be there from the start to the end, and we were only there in the second half, and we totally just said goodbye in the first. We just refused to show up. I still think it's a bit early to judge someone like Faruk Hadžibegić, because I feel like there's still more that he could show, which of course I would love to see, but I currently do not have an opinion on him. I don't want to go around praising him, because that's what everyone did after the first game. They were immediately labeling him as the next Pep Guardiola, but obviously that's a bit of an overstatement. I feel like we're getting caught up in the moment. The euphoria got to us because a 3-0 win is huge, and I don't know if it got to the players. I don't know, but whatever happened, and it was honestly a shame, because I mean, we really had something going for us, but clearly we just can't allow that. Credits to Slovakia, although they weren't that good, we were just horrible, and they capitalized off of it, as they should, of course. So credit to them, they really bounced back from that draw against Luxembourg. We have not had 2 wins in a row in an international break in a long time. And if you're wondering what I mean by a long time, I mean a really long time. The kind of long time since September of 2018. That's when we won against Northern Ireland, and then a few days later we won against Austria 1-0 in the Nations League. The closest things that we had about 2 wins in a row was beating Finland in June of 2022 and then beating Montenegro in September of 2022 for the Nations League. However, those are different international breaks, so I'm not really going to count it. It's just a little bit surprising and mainly annoying how we give ourselves some hope and then we immediately crush it, and this happens every time. I want to hear your thoughts on this. How do you look at it? Are there more positives or are there more negatives to take away? What's to be expected next international break, because we still got a lot of work to do ahead of us. And yeah, that's really about it. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, if you want to see the madness of my reactions unfold in real time, the Instagram's probably the best way to get to it. You won't find much on Twitter from me. However, if you want to be a super fan, I guess you can drop a follow on that too. Anyways, I'm waffling, subscribe, like, and just